Today's vlog is gonna be terrible. If you're the type of person that likes happy, feel-good episodes or vlogs, you should probably not watch today's, because Cammy and I are in a fight.
It's only 11 o'clock and it's already been a hard day. I feel overwhelmed. Out of control of certain events. I feel anxious. I feel kind of pissed off. A little mad at God. Frustrated, maybe is a better word. I don't know. Frustrated at some people in my life. Frustrated at the circumstances. Why can't things be different? I had like a super bad headache in the middle of the night last night. I went to bed with a headache, but it actually woke me up in the middle of the night and it was way worse. And I really needed some drugs. We didn't have any drugs, but my in-laws, they had some ibuprofen, and I knew that. And so I was like, dang it, I don't want to have to text them or go over there. And I was asking Ben for help, and I think he was pretty frustrated at me but he ended up going over there and getting it for me. And then I woke up this morning and I felt like he was distancing himself from me, which is a huge trigger for me. As far as then I start feeling anxious and I gotta fix this. So one of the things I've been trying to work on, especially through 12 steps, is to not, in those moments, to give Ben some space and to not have to like fix it right then, right there. The serenity prayer was really important for me to hear this morning. So I'm glad I went to my 12-step meeting, even though I only got like 4 hours of sleep. Sometimes it's the really simple things that help you the most. Can I just say right now that marriage is hard? It is hard. But it's worth it. Or at least that's what I'm trying to tell myself right now.
Last night, Cammy asked for my help, and I offered 2 suggestions, and she didn't do them. And I didn't handle that very well. It kind of pissed me off. I said, why don't you wait 15 minutes? And she didn't. And it kind of just put me in a bad attitude. So this whole morning, there's been this distance, and she wants to talk, and deep down, I want to talk, but I really don't want to talk. It's confusing. In these moments, it's really hard because I just kind of want to zone out, and it's so hard to be separate from our spouse. And I want to reconcile, but I think there's a part of me that likes being distant too. It's really painful, I guess. Like even what she did yesterday, I feel like I know it shouldn't hurt me, but it did hurt me. And I don't really know how to say that. So I feel like I'm that boy in kindergarten that when you have a feeling, like when you like a girl, you wouldn't tell her that. So you just like throw rocks at her head because it's like the only way you know how to express emotion. That's how I feel right now. I don't know how to communicate these things to her. I have to be careful in these moments though, because when I'm disconnected from Cammy, I tend to zone out. Like that's when I look at porn, that's when I do mindless shit on the internet. It's hard for me to get motivated to work. this used to happen for like really long periods of time, like days and days. And we're better at it, but it's still like really hard knowing how to like humble myself and look at my side, because I know there's things that I did wrong and that I wasn't having a good attitude and I wasn't loving her in the ways that I want to. I think what I should do is just like focus on the things that I did. What I want to do is focus on the things that she did. So on top of that, we have to film. I know she took the camera. I don't even know what she said.
Ben and I were able to make up mostly by talking through what happened last night. And it was helpful for me to hear his feedback because I think I was unaware of a whole side that he was aware of, and that is he was trying to make the best possible decision for our family in that moment and felt like I was overriding that and saying, I don't want to do what you're saying. I'd rather try to take care of myself. It was hard for me to see it in that light because all I could see was, you're not taking good care of me. I gotta take care of myself. I was able to see that those were two separate issues. One was Ben, me not feeling cared for by Ben, and then the other was me not letting him take the reins and try to make the best decision in that moment for our family.
I had my banana.
You had your banana for your snack?
I gulped it all down.
You gobbled it all down.
Like I cook big bites.
Big bites.
My mom and dad are going out because it's Friday
Wednesday.
or it's Wednesday night.
We are going out with our friends for dinner. Don't know where we're going yet. Maybe Red Lobster.
For dinner, we're having pasta with brown butter and Mizithra. It's one of our favorites, and I think the original recipe is from Spaghetti Factory. At least that's where we got it. Tonight, we're playing hide and seek in the dark.
Whether or not, here we come. Keep up. Who's down here? Whether or not, here we come.
Today's been a rough day. We went out to dinner, didn't film much. Fighting's hard. I don't feel like super connected to you.
Likewise. It's time for Q&A.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
First thing, for those of you that don't know, we have a Facebook page and you should follow us there because all of our questions generally come from Facebook. I'm going to put the link below. Beth wants to know, how do you motivate the kids to run when they don't feel like it? Are they required to run or do they just enjoy it?
They definitely have days where they don't feel like it. We motivate them by doing it with them. And we do like fun things throughout the run, especially if it's nice weather. There's like parks and there's water parks that they run
Sorry,
through.
I'm smiling at the baby
sprinklers
here.
and stuff.
He keeps on smiling at me. It's distracting. It's definitely mandatory, although we allow some flexibility. They have a running coupon system they set up where if they run like 6 times, they get to choose a day off.
Yeah.
But then when we give them a choice, like with the marathon, we said, who wants to run this? And they all said they want to do it. So we're all running the marathon in 5 days. Adrian asked a ton of questions about religion, Judaism, Hebraic roots. Adrian, you got to pick one question. We're going to pick it for you this time, but we'd love to answer all those, but that's a lot of questions. Well, it's actually not a question, but you say the Sabbath was really stressful for you. If the Sabbath is really stressful for you, what we've experienced is that we're not doing it right, because the whole point is to rest. Now, it can be a little bit tricky and difficult, but if it's stressing you out, I would say it's actually not rest. Molly says, are you guys ready for the marathon? I saw Ben had an injury.
In my opinion, no.
Of course we're not ready.
Because they haven't ran in the last 2 weeks or something.
But we're doing it.
But I think they'll be okay.
David asks, what kind of camera do you use for your vlog? We use a Canon 70D. I will show it to you right here. That is it. Can you see that? It's a digital SLR. I wanted to use a fancy camera because to me, vlogging is more than just transmission of facts. It's actually an art. And I want to be constantly reminded of that. And it's not a convenient camera. I don't know how to answer these homeschool curriculum questions. I feel like we get these questions every time. I feel like we should make a whole homeschooling video. Sorry, country living mama, we're not going to be able to get to that question today because it's stressing me out. Heidini is asking, what is the hardest part of me working outside the home and inside the home? She wants to hear from you and I. Let's start with outside the home.
Ben being outside of the home means that I and the kids get less time with him, and that all of the day stuff is kind of all on me.
For me, leaving the home, I feel like then I have to choose between making money and doing a job and training my kids. And I hate having to separate those things. The hardest part for inside the home.
Just because Ben's at home doesn't necessarily mean he's readily accessible all the time.
Yeah, same thing for me. Sometimes when I'm home, I feel guilty for not being with the kids because there's no clear boundary. Katie asks, where do we buy our milk, eggs, and cream?
From a local Mennonite family.
They're basically Amish. Shanine asks, what do we do for our movie night and how do we pick movies out? This is a great question. I love this question. Thanks for asking this. We watch movies every Friday. And we bought 52 movies so that we watch each movie once a year. And you mentioned in your question that some of our movies have intense, violent, suggestive, Lord of the Rings, Titanic. Yes, yes, yes. So we're pretty liberal with what our kids watch in a way. There's a few things that are important to us. One is we want good stories. And good stories for us are things that reflect truth and that create good conversation. In general, we tend to watch movies that are above kids' levels, not below. We want movies that Cammy and I both like so that we can bring and raise our kids up to our level instead of all sitting around watching just a cartoon just because the 5-year-old likes it.
Or keeping the 5-year-old out of it.
In terms of the violence and whatnot, there's a lot of things that we're not afraid of as long as our children are exposed to them with us and we talk about them. We feel like they kind of lose their power. There's a few exceptions though. Like most sexuality in terms of nudity, we will either fast forward or talk about while fast forwarding or something like that. That has very little redeeming value for me and gets stuff stuck that's hard to get rid of. And there is some like extremely violent and graphic stuff, but for the most part, they've seen war movies. They've seen death. They've seen slavery. We've talked about Schindler's List. We've seen that. So we're pretty liberal when it comes to that. We feel like that's history, that those are stories, that's life. John says, will you teach your kids blackjack? Or have you? What card games do they play? And how does Cammy feel about blackjack? I think my kids know how to play blackjack. Not like beat the game, but they know how the game of 21 works. I don't plan on teaching them. Actually, I taught Memory how to count cards, now that I think about it.
I don't see anything wrong with it, what Ben used to do. But it's in a dreary environment and not one that I'd want to like hang out in a lot. Casinos. I actually really don't like casinos.
I like casinos more than I like Target. Thanks for all your questions.
Yeah,
Sorry today's vlog episode sucks, and we were both in a bad mood all day, and I've been fighting all day. I guarantee it's easier for you to watch than for us to experience.
But hey, that's real life.
Come on, smile one last time, and then we'll turn the vlog off.
Hey, buddy. Oh,
Can you smile?
hey, buddy. Smile at the camera. And then he told me I should go talk to you guys about this stuff. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, it's helpful to talk through this stuff, even if it's to a camera. Although I know there's people on the other side of this camera.